Hello, welcome to CLSB Politics. Sean Briscoe here. So I finally found a decent poll that I liked. That I think is decent. It's an AP and ABC News Ipsos poll. It was taken between July 25th and 29th, and it's about the vice president choices. Now, some of the information's a little thin, but given the fact that these are all state level, even, I mean, even include, they're all just at their state level. None of them ever run statewide. This is at least a pretty decent look at to where they might be. So let us begin. Okay. So the best performing one was Kelly. Mark Kelly came out at like 30% positive, 20% negative, and 50% didn't know enough. That's just of adults in the United States. As far as Dems go, he had a 45% favorability, 10% unfavorability, and 40% didn't really know. Dems over 45 are especially likely to have a favorable view, while younger Dems are likely not to be very familiar. That was kind of the rundown on him. And a lot of them, he actually performed the best out of the bunch. But this is a normal size poll. I mean, this is like a normal result for a guy who has not run statewide. So, I mean, I knew who he was because his brother and him were part of the twins program in NASA. But I'm a space nerd. So that's how I know who he was. Yeah. And also knew what happened to his wife. And, but I also pay attention. So, the other one is, so we got Josh Shapiro. 60% of adults US wide don't really know enough. 57% of Dems didn't know enough. It was kind of a split 20-20 favorable, unfavorable. And of the Dems, 25% view him favorably. I'm sorry, that was adults. It's 20-20 split. Now, if you drill down into Democrats only, 25% view him favorably and 16% view him unfavorably. And again, older Dems are more likely to have a favorable view than younger Dems. In the Northeast, he had 40% of adults viewed him positively and 40% didn't know him enough. So he does much better in the Northeast than he does nationwide, which makes sense because it's kind of where Pennsylvania is up there. So that follows. So what we have in the Northeast, he's 40% favorable, 40% don't really know. In nationwide, he's 60% don't really know. 50%. I mean, he does better up in the Northeast, but that makes a lot of sense. So very good. Moving on, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. He's got 70% adults don't know enough at all. So he's probably got the largest, blank slate, which is not necessarily a bad thing, just to be for the record. He does have 17% positive, 15% negative, so it's kind of a split. 66% of Dems have a positive view and 10% have a negative view. So he's at least known. And so he's got that going for him. And then there's actually, as part of the ABC poll, not the AP poll. So Tim Waltz was kind of just came on the scene. So very few people know who he is. In fact, I really wasn't very familiar with him until the White Dudes for Kamala call. And I was very impressed by him. I actually said that on my video. He sounded great. But nobody knows. One of the things he's got going for him, though, is all that talking point you're hearing a lot. Weird. The GOP's weird. GOP's weird. He's the one who did that. So for a guy who not many people know who he is, we're hearing a lot of stuff coming from him, which is an interesting thing. And and why he was added on to this AP article that was talking about this poll. So I just wanted to, my quote, because I really didn't really have a good quote what it means to pick a VP. But I found, the Constitution names the Vice President of the United States as the President of the Senate. And that's quoted by the Constitution of the United States. So I expect to hear something. Man, tomorrow would not be a bad day to drop the name. They want the Sunday political shows to talk about the VP choice. And she's gonna, and the V, and so many VPs running around. Kamala's going to be at a rally on Tuesday with whoever she chooses. Now, I know it takes time to get all the graphics done and the printing done. And I'm sure they got people they can just do round the clock. But you still need it all. T-shirts, yard signs, stickers, all this, the swag, if you will. That takes a minute to make. And it wouldn't surprise me if we hear something from them tomorrow. That way they own tomorrow. They'll own tomorrow's media. They'll own Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday's their rally where they'll both be on stage. So they'll own that too. So my thinking is that would be the smart move. I don't know for a fact, but we'll see. Because, all this is guesswork until they actually pull the trigger. But anyway, I hope I was able to pick out one of your guys' favorites. These 4 seem to be the ones that I mentioned the most, and these are the ones that I've seen polling on. And this is the first polling I've seen. So I wanted to get it out to you all, and feel free to comment as usual. And I hope everyone has a good evening. I'm posting this as soon as I can get it posted. All right. Oh, before I leave, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. If you wish to support the channel and the work that I'm doing, the PayPal for the channel is CLSP Politics. All right. You have a good evening. Bye-bye.